Hello, everybody, and welcome back to VDRL. Today I have a special guest here with me, Ekahor. Hello.
Hello, and yeah, welcome to F124 tier round one. But I will um, go back to Quota as the main commentator for this race.
Yeah, so the first round of our F124 tier, and the first time there is an F124 tier here in VDRL. And let's just check out the lineup really quick while I invite a couple of people. Could you read it, Ekahor? I need to invite some people. Maybe
Yes,
briefs on
so
the. Yeah.
the driver lineup for today, it's not the most, but it is some drivers who are stuck on F124 or doesn't want to play F125 or just trying to play F124. So today we have in the McLarens, we have Jablinski as as McLaren number one driver and Infinity as the other McLaren driver. In the Ferraris, we have Enzo and Young Victim in both in the Ferraris in the red uh, car. On Mercedes, we only have one driver still, but there's more to come. In this tier, we have VRXZE in the Mercedes number one car, and on Aston Martin, we have Justin Maguire. In the Alpine, we have Leclerc. Uh, on the RB, the V car, we have Barcelona 89. In the Williams, we have D-Mag and B-Full. And lastly, lastly, we have Kick Sauber with Wave and Meshu closing up the grid for today's race.
Yep. So now I'm just gonna go to the game and invite everyone. Okay, so I have just learned that the thumbnail that I put on is yesterday's thumbnail. So that is not good. How do I press the button to add people back? Okay, I found it. Wait, no, I didn't find it. Here it is. Okay, so let me add this guy.
Okay, so as he's inviting those people, so yeah, today's track is Portugal with a 35% race with and short qualifying. It's also a sprint weekend, as did the last race in F125 tier. We don't have 20 people in here, but we have almost 10, I think. And I think still more is gonna come in, but maybe 9 is the best. So yeah, Portugal is a exciting track, and not that easy, but still a very exciting, as we could see from last season race here in F124 yet. So yeah, high hopes for this race, and yeah, we're gonna see what we can do in today's race.
Yep. So just inviting the last couple of people and then we can ready up. Um. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that's everyone, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Second. Okay, so now we're going to ready up for round one. Okay.
Also, welcome to the four viewers who are in this live stream today. As you can see, we have Portugal today in the F124 team, which is one unique thing about this league, that we still have an F124 league for people who cannot buy F125 or just want to play something different. So yeah, I have Mr. Quota as the main commentator here, so I will give him the rest of the.
Yeah. So we can see it as dry conditions currently out on track. We're gonna see the driver. Why is okay? We're gonna see the drivers heading out on track just in a couple moments now. Okay, so I'm not muted, bro. But my friend is he's being, yeah, man. Did you hear this? Are you hearing this, Ekahor?
Unfortunately, I'm hearing this. Yes.
Oh my god, bro, he's okay. So now we're gonna be heading out on track with first round. So we got the teams that have an advantage so far are Ferrari, Williams, and Kick Sauber, since they all have full lineup attending this race. And let's see if the first driver's heading out on track soon. Um, who do you think would be the favorites to take sprint pole position here in round one?
Well, I mean, from last season's was Mashu who took pole position, I think here. So he is a very strong contender. Also, I think DMAC has a chance of maybe taking that winning pole position, or at least the top three. He can make some very great comebacks in the in this in this league, not just league, but in this how do you say, game. So yeah, I think Meshu is one of the biggest
Oh,
contenders.
as we see, Enzo has just spun it on the outlap right into the wall. So I don't know what has happened there. That will be his softs a bit of a waste, but it'll still be not too bad for his next lap after he has to change his wing. For Enzo has got a 5 place grid penalty because he had a collision. Already drama here. Not looking too good for the Ferrari. You mentioned D-Mag there as a contender. From what I saw last time out in Portugal, he was struggling a bit. Didn't have quite the pace. If I remember, he finished P7 after just the race before Portugal winning it. So maybe not his strongest track, but we'll definitely have to see what he can do here. Um, let's just see. The first driver who's gonna start his lap very soon will be Young Victim, if I'm not mistaken. So let's head on board with him for the whole lap on the medium compound of tires. Now draining quite a bit of the ERS and deploying the DRS here, going down the main straight into this medium speed corner of turn 1, very tricky corner. You need to not hit the curb as he goes really wide but doesn't invalidate. Then hits the apex quite nicely but misses it a bit and falls out a bit wide just because of that lap looking a bit messy at the moment. But we'll see what he can put together in the end. Of course, he is on the medium compound of tires, so we'll have to see what he can do in the end with the softs. But still, these first laps are important to confirm your position. At least a lap can't invalidate this one. A lot of pressure will be on you to get a good lap there in the end. But now, not the best of laps here by him. Looking a bit scuffed, but you see hitting the apex quite nicely.
I mean, every driver needs to get at least a safety lap in to, so to not like, maybe they're not pushing that hard in the first some laps, also on the mediums. They need to get the safety lap in to just confirm their position at least in the top 5 or the top 6. So yeah, but let's see what he can do. 118.2.
Yeah, pretty good lap, but I have seen a lot better laps here. As we see Leclerc instantly beats it by 2 tenths in the Alpine for 118.0. We'll definitely be looking to get into the 117s from these drivers as D-Mag quite a bit off the pace with a 118.8 if I'm not mistaken. Not the best showing from him at the moment, but he's on the medium compound tires compared to Leclerc, who's on the softs. Um, and my yeah, so I'm sorry, bro. My friend is showing
Yeah.
me a picture of Sophie Rain.
Yeah, but okay, so yeah, I mean, Young Victim has, I think, potential to beat Leclerc very much because, as you said, he is on the medium tires and he did his lap on medium tires. As Infinity goes second fastest with a 118.2. Uh, so yes, so I think both Infinity and Victim is going to beat Leclerc if they don't mess up their laps, because as you said, they're medium tires and switching the mediums to softs, it's about 4 or 5 tenths of improvement in those tires. So yeah, as
Verzi.
there's a 116.8.
That's a very good lap by him. That's by 1.2 seconds, a massive gap here. We'll see who can beat that, but he's looking very quick out here today. Let's see what Enzo can do. He did damage his wing on his first one, and he has a big moment there on the exit of turn 1 there. But we'll have to see. He is on the soft still, and struggling so far this lap for grip, and ERS is pretty low right now. So now going down the gears into this hard corner, you have to nail this exit here. As you see his teammate maybe giving a bit of slipstream to him over there. You see some drivers just backing off to let him by, not impede him, of course, trying to get a penalty. You see such big elevation change around here in Portugal. You have to get all the braking light. If you just miss the braking by a little bit, you could be going off. Very tricky track here. Now going back up the elevation and going to finish his lap, and we have to see what he can do here. The Williams pair so far is struggling down in P6 and P7. The last of the drivers who have finished the lap right now. But let's see what Enzo can do here. He's gonna go across the line with a 118.9. Not the best ever. 2 seconds of provisional pole position at the moment. Verzi seems to be in a league of his own. But we'll have to see what Meshu can do. He still hasn't set a lap. Let's see if Meshu is starting his lap at the moment. Yeah, so Meshu on his lap now on the mediums. Used quite a bit of ERS here on the main straight. We see some yellow flags ahead. Probably just cars letting by to not impede. Meshu, of course, is a very strong contender here for pole position tonight. As we do know, he's very strong around this track. He won last time from 20 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a very good drive by him. We see Infinity going to P2 on the medium compound of tires. Only 9 tenths off of Verzi. But let's see what Meshu can do also on the medium. Verzi is on the soft, so Meshu will have a bit of a disadvantage. But if he can get between like 4 tenths behind Verzi, he could be in contention for pole position here later on. But let's see what he can do now. Going on to the final sector here. Gonna have to use all of his ERS now through this tricky uphill and downhill at the same time corner. High speed, and he bails out of the lap actually. Maybe doesn't think he has enough time to do another lap on the soft, so he just boxes right away to guarantee his time later on. But this is very crucial. We don't
Yes,
know.
because there's only 4 minutes remaining of this qualifying session, and as we can see, he got impeded by his own teammate in the box. So, yeah, that's probably why he bailed out of that lap.
As we see Young Victim cutting the track to also maybe get back into the pits to guarantee his lap. Then where is Infinity? Also boxing, so everyone just going into the pits now, change a set of tires, refuel, and get ready for those final runs here. We do know that pole position gives a point, but only in the main qualifying, so won't be fighting for a point here, but this will be good practice for the main qualifying later on. Also a point for fastest lap in the race. We see Ferrari, if I'm not mistaken, going out there. Yes. Uh, young Victim is going in while his teammate is going out. Everyone now going to be peeling out of the pits to set their final laps. And who do you think is going to be the favorite to take your pole position? I'm thinking Verzi or Meshi, but who do you think of them?
Yeah, as we couldn't see a lap from Meshu yet, but yeah, the Mercedes of Verzi still very strong lap from him. Infinity could maybe get some close to him. Maybe we don't know if his medium time was his full potential on those mediums, but I mean, 9 tenths of improvement is very hard to do in any single case, from visiting to mediums to softs or any single case. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, Meshu is on there on his outlap. Infinity and Verse is still in the pits. I don't know if they're gonna come out once again, but yeah, we will see what will happen. Uh, if they can improve. If Versi also has a very big chance of improvement, I think, because I
Yeah,
mean
but
everybody can improve.
we did see Verzi, his first lap was on the soft, so now either he has to go out on the new mediums, which will be slower than the softs, or he has to go out on old softs, which will be very low grip. So I don't know if he will even go out. I think he's happy with that lap, and he'll just have to wait it out and see, because not a lot of time, and he's still not exiting the pit. So I think he'll just stay in due to starting on the softs later, earlier in the session. But now we see Meshu, the first one to start his flying lap, if I'm not mistaken, here the final run. He will be having a better track condition than Verzi had at the start of the session, so we'll have to see what he can do here. Now, going down only to 6th gear. Most drivers go down to 5th gear there. Maybe he knows something else. Now going down the 2nd gear and going up this very tricky corner. Hard to not lose the rear end there. You really need to keep your driving like wheel stable to not lose it there. On any type of car, it's really hard to maneuver that corner. But now Messi seems to be doing quite well through this first sector. We see a yellow flag ahead as well from the Ferrari, probably just going slow, warming his tires, not wanting to overheat them as well. But now Messi going on to sector 2, going up the elevation here, now going down into this tricky corner, kind of like a hairpin here. Uh, Hard to nail it. You can't go a bit wide and then miss the apex and lose a 10 for 2. Now, locks up a bit Meshu here, but as we do know, locking up on this game, from my experience, is faster than not locking up. So let's see what Meshu can do here. Now, his teammate going up into P2, Flame, Case Warrior, or Wave. But let's see what Meshu can do. Can he take provisional pole position away from Verzi? Yes, he can by 2 tenths of a second. Meshu takes pole position so far. Do you think anyone can beat him?
Definitely not. Infinity is down by 1 second. That's not gonna improve anything. Uh, Verx or VRXE is still in the pits or didn't go out at all. But as we can see, Infinity with the purple second sector, so he could be a contender as he is finishing up his lap right now, using all of the ERS through the last corner.
DMAC going up into
DMAC goes
P3.
third fastest
Yep, strong lap. But now
as
where can
Infinity
Infinity?
is going to go third fastest,
Yeah,
just not just beating DMAC but beating DMAC.
1,000 separating Verzi and Infinity there for P2. Very close gap there. Now Flame also finishing his lap, only improving by a little bit. I don't know if he can overtake DMAC for P4. Of course, this is only the sprint qualifying, so only a couple of points. And Flame improves by 2 tenths, goes back up into P5. So everyone finished their lap except Enzo. Is he on a lap? No. So everyone finished their lap. So your pole position, or sprint pole position for round 1, goes to Meshu in the Kick Sauber. Not the fastest in real life, but the driver makes the difference here in VDRL, and he takes pole position here for round 1 of the sprint race. So very close gaps there, at least for P2 here. We see 1,000th of a second separating them. Let's hope they can have those close gaps in the race as well. And so Meshu taking pole position, Verzi in P2, Infinity taking P3, DMAG taking P4. We know if he starts high up on the grid, he can get a good race result. So we'll have to watch out for him. We know he has some good race starts. Then Wave taking P5 in the Sauber, Young Victim P6, Barca Boy P7, Leclerc P8, Enzo P9, and Beeful in P10. As we see, Enzo has a 5 place grid penalty for that collision with DMAG earlier on in the session, so we will be starting P10. Now, dry again for this session here, the sprint race. We'll have to see. The drivers should know if it's going to be wet for the race or the qualifying, but we don't know yet. We don't have the weather forecast. But
But we can see some clouds in the background if you look closely.
yep,
Maybe that will come and yeah, try maybe mix up the race a little bit. So yeah.
yeah. So someone has told me that it will possibly be wet. I don't know when. I don't even know if it's gonna be in the sprint race, but he said that it could be possibly wet soon. And no, no. Okay, so we're gonna be starting the sprint race now. So 3, 4, and 5 red lights, and we race here in VDRL. Meshu has a pretty good reaction time and keeping the lead here into turn 1, trying to go around the outside is the Mercedes of Verzi. He goes round the outside and takes the lead. We see a big snap by Infinity there, going down to position as Dima goes down the inside of Meshu there, trying to overtake, as we see a big spin there in the back for Beeful. Dmag's teammate and Infinity has had a big moment as well.
Yeah, D-Mag up to third place, gaining 2 position. Also Meshu down to second place, as VRXC has overtaken him and getting a lead by now almost half a second.
Yep, so DMAG now already dropping back a second behind Meshu. He needs to stay in that DRS window if he wants to be in contention for this win, or at least P2. We see some position changes there in the back. Yeah, we see some squabbling there in the back of the field. Now going down the inside is Leclerc of Beefle and taking the place there for P9 here in the sprint race. Young Victim up into P4, started P5 if I'm not mistaken. But Flame all the way down to P7. Beeful already gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and it's just lap 2. We just started lap 2, so he's definitely struggling there. But now we see Verzi already taking a commanding lead of 1.2 seconds over Meshu. He just seems to have very good pace at the moment. But as we see Beeful dropping down, he has cut the corner. What has happened there? He has no wing. I don't know what happened there exactly, but it looked to me that he cut the corner to maybe hit someone. I don't know exactly. What do you think?
I mean, I think he like, I don't know. He probably just got the corner because he know that he got a 3 and then a 6-second time penalty, I think. Also, he didn't have a front wing anymore, so yeah, maybe he just gave up on the race. But yeah, we don't know. Also, D-Max losing out on the 1 second gap. He won't have DRS, I think, now. Or neither will Meshu, but Young Victim will have DRS, and he will be getting that position change, or he can gain to D-Mag as he gets overtaken by Infinity on the straight.
Yeah, but we see in the tires there that Verzi is on the soft compound of tires and Meshu's on the medium, so Meshu could be gaining some time later in the race when the soft start to wear out, as we see Beefle retiring in the pit lane, just giving up on the race. Gonna focus maybe for the main qualifying session here later on. But we see Leclerc dropping down the order. What is happening here? As we see a yellow flag for Enzo. Maybe they have collided there in the back. Um, which button is to change? Okay, I found the button to change drivers now. Really quickly. Okay, this is good. So, DMAC now dropping down. Uh, down to P4, overtaken by Infinity. Maybe Infinity is gonna try and catch up to Meshu. They are on the soft, so their tires should be better than Meshu's, who's on the mediums. But we see battling here in the back with Barca Boy, Flame, and Leclerc. Great view here from Leclerc. He's gonna see Flame and Barca Boy here going side by side into turn 1. Flame with the DRS. It should be a clear overtake against Leclerc. Trying to move down the inside, but he just backs out at the end. But will he go around the outside now? Side by side with Barca Boy here. And he takes the position. But they're still going side by side. Barca Boy keeping the position, but Leclerc will have the DRS. Will he go down the inside here into this next or no? He backs out. We see some battling here side by side with Young Victim and DMAG for P4. As DMAG has a big moment there. Ghosting even because
DMAG losing it, getting a snap oversteer from that battle. Maybe he just got a little bit pressured into making that mistake, as a Young Victim takes 4th position, and we can see that the medium tires might be getting better lap by lap from the softs, because yeah, Young Victim is just moving up the order lap by lap and inch by inch.
yeah, Meshu needs the medium tires to get better. We see him 2.6 seconds behind the race leader Verzi. But now, let's see here, Young Victim overtaking Infinity pretty easily here with the DRS and on the medium compound of tires, which should be getting better at this point of the race. Meshu, maybe a bit of a struggle here, not gaining much time to Verzi. Verzi seems to have the win in the bag at the moment. Meshu needs to push hard. Verzi on 70% battery as well, as we see battling here for P3. A Young Victim overtakes Infinity. Seems to have maybe a bit of contact by them. Now, DMAX should have a very good view of this.
Yeah, and moving up and down like a roller coaster, as Londoners once said. These elevation changes, I mean, getting a lot of people's minds and also just making them make mistakes. As we could see that Infinity had got a snap oversteer for a 1 second, but he could save it, fortunately. And yeah, as you said, Meshu struggling to get as Enzo goes off the track and spins by battling with Leclerc.
Yeah, big moment there for the Ferrari, with his teammate being on the podium at the moment. Not the best showing from him. We see going side by side. Infinity getting a 3-second time penalty. What has happened there? He's going off into the gravel. Infinity getting a 3-second time penalty and having to go back to the track, losing a lot of time from that now. But this has went into DMAX perfectly. Enzo also getting a 3-second time penalty. DMAG will have a good opportunity to go for the podium next lap with the DRS if he can stay in it. He has a lot more ERS than Young Victim. So we'll have to see, as we see a yellow flag in the back for Enzo. Maybe a bit of a moment for him. He doesn't have any damage from what we can see.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's still a little bit chilled out right now, except DMAC, because he will have a very good opportunity to take that P3 and provisional podium away from Young Victim. He just needs to play his cards right a little bit, maybe not try to overtake this lap, but next lap, on the last lap maybe even. And yeah, because it's lap 7 right now from the 8 lap race. as DMAG is still half a second off from Young Victim having the DRS and closing the gap very fast. As Flamex goes side by side, Infinity is going to cut or go off track and not give that position to Flame Savory, but he will still try to overtake him on track and not just off track, because Infinity has a 3-second time penalty that's gonna count towards his time at the end of the race, going side by side.
We see DMAG getting past Young Victim for P3 here. DMAG still on the soft tires and 6 seconds now behind Meshu. Meshu did gain about a second to Verzi, but I don't think it will be enough come to the final lap. Just in a couple moments time here. But it's looking like Verzi, for his maiden race here in VDRL, will win it for Mercedes. We'll still have to see, because Meshu is gaining a lot of time here. Only 1.8 seconds behind, but he would have to push to catch Verzi here by the end, and I really doubt that he can do that. But now we're gonna have to see DMAG. Will he get overtaken by a Young Victim for the podium here in F1 2040 round 1? Now going around the outside is Young Victim and easily goes by DMAG. Now we see in the back a battle with Infinity and Flame, as a big contact, and Infinity hits into the back of Flame there, but lifts good sportsmanship there to let him by. But we see some contact there as Barca Boy goes back past Infinity, and taking crucial advantage of that incident incident there.
Yeah, Infinity is like making a lot of mistakes right now in this race, crashing into a lot of people, maybe not playing his not playing the best sportsmanship. As we could see, he did give the position back, but yeah, I don't think we needs to give the position back, or like he just needs to play normally, as VRX is going to finish his race.
Yeah, Verzi now going to win the sprint race here. But now let's see the battle for P3 with DMAG and Young Victim going side by side. Who will go out the top? It's Young Victim. He had the DRS and he took the win. Or not the win. P3, as we see a big spin there in the end. But your final order will be Verzi taking his maiden win here in VDRL. And his first race here, he wins it for the sprint. Then Meshu, a strong P2. And Young Victim closing out the podium in P3. Strong finish for DMAG in P4. Just at the same pace where he started. We'll have to see if he can show up even better for the qualifying session. And Akahor, you cut out a bit. I don't know if you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. I just wanted to let you finish the race results. So yeah.
Yeah. So we see Beefle, the only DNF for Williams, who had the they could have taken advantage for double points. Here they are one of the couple teams that have two drivers racing for them today, but they didn't in the end. Ferrari also didn't take advantage of that, with Enzo finishing P9 there in the end. But Kick Sauber are taking big advantage of that with Meshu in P2, and in P5 we have Flame, so they will be leading the Constructors' Championship at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. But now we see another dry session here in main qualifying for the pole position, and now in main qualifying there will be a point awarded for pole position, so more stakes out here. Meshu needs to up his game. He did take pole position, right? Did he? Sprint pole position.
Yes, he did. He did
Yeah.
take pole position by 2 tenths, I think.
Yeah, so he needs to start better, not let Verzi take the lead, but there will be now strategy playing into this main race, when you can box, for what tires you should box, what tires you should start with. And I have heard that there maybe will a bit of rain in one of the sessions, so we'll have to watch out for that.
Of course, the rain could play a major role in this race, and also safety cars could play a major role because there's only 10 people, and if there's a safety car, all of the people will be very close to each other. So, yeah, safety car could make a big difference here today in Portimao.
Yeah, so we see the first driver heading out here, and this is um Leclerc in the only Alpine here heading out on the soft compound of tires. They will have three soft tires to play with unless they chose the wait no they will have three softs to play with or if they use the soft in the sprints, do you think they will have one less softs for the qualifying or no?
I think if they choose the balance tire location, then maybe yes. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, but we'll have to see. Well, everyone will have at least two softs, so they can do a lap here at the start or a lap here in the middle of the session and in the end. The end is the most crucial for the best track condition. But now there was only a 2/10 of gap separating Meshu and Verzi and Infinity, so any one of them could be in contention. Do you think Meshu will take it again, or Verzi or Infinity could maybe have a shot at it?
I think Verzi will have a a big chance also Infinity because they did come close to Meshu in the end, but maybe they just couldn't put the right tires. Maybe they had used tires, so yeah, I think they could come very close to Meshu and maybe take that pole away from him and plus 1 point.
Yeah, of course, Verzi doing his soft lap at the start of the sprint qualifying session, and we know track evolution is like 4/10 worth of lap time. Well, in the sprint, maybe 2/10 due to a shorter session, so he could be also a very big pole contender here. Everyone needs to nail their lap if they want to have a good starting position. Now Leclerc, a bit of a rough lap, having a big moment at the start, but not too shabby for his first lap. This is of course their safe lap to just guarantee something, but we'll have to see what he can put down here. The pole position lap, if I'm not mistaken, was a 16.6, somewhere there. Let me just check really quick. I have the results here on standby. So the pole position lap was a 16.6, yes, 16.606. So we could be heading into the 16.5, 16.4 territory here for pole position. So let's see what Leclerc can put down here for his first lap. Will be a 18.1, not the best lap, quite a way, but of course it's just the first lap. Now D-Mag also on his lap. Let's see what he can do on the medium tires actually. Having a big slide there though, that will be maybe 2/10 worth of time there. Of course the counter steer, but he just would hope to get into the 70s as Infinity. Very good lap by him to start out the session, a 17.0. If we know that the track evolution is 4/10, then he will be at a 16.6 by the end of the session, so that will be definitely in contention for pole position. Very good starting lap by Infinity and definitely secured a good position for him. But now let's see what Dina can do here on the medium compound of tires, finishing his lap here. Meshu goes to pole position, provisional pole position with a 16.8. That's a very good lap. Only 2/10 off his pole position lap in the sprint. So, and here it's for a point. Now D-Mag 2 seconds off. Definitely not the best. Verzi with the medium tires as well. So he's with a 17.4. Good effort by him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Versi with the medium tires is very, very good because, as you said, the track evolution is about 4/10 at the end. And on the medium tires, if he switches to softs, which he will have, I think, two more compounds, uh, he will gain like about 9/10, I think, maybe even at the end. So, yeah, I think he has a very good chance of getting that pole position on those soft tires if it doesn't mess up, of course.
Yeah. So So now Infinity, who took P3 in the end in the sprint race, now on his first lap. We see Flame on the hard tires. You see that in the south.
Yes, I can see that. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he chose the harder tire location, which, I mean, not the best options, but maybe he only had that lap, or just trying to get some data for the end,
For the
for the
main
race.
race,
Sorry.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I don't really know what he's doing right now. Maybe he didn't get the memo that he's qualifying or something. But yeah, I mean, it's weird, pretty weird.
Yeah, but we'll have to see what lap he can put down with the hards there. He's starting his lap now. We'll see it after Young Victim here finishes his lap. What can Young Victim here do on the soft tires? Now DRS flap wide open with a 17.5 to 2.7 seconds off. Not the best effort. Uh, or no, I'm sorry. I was looking at his teammate. He's Young Victim is only 8 tenths off, so not that bad, but not perfect. But now let's see Flame on the hearts. What can he put down here? Maybe he knows something we don't, and the tires are really good. Like in real F1 qualifying, they use the mediums.
Yeah, maybe he's like, I don't know, or just trying to make a challenge for himself
Ah,
to it's
maybe.
something. But yeah, maybe it's like Canada in real life, that the hard tires are better. It
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it, but yeah.
Yeah, so going over the line now, it's gonna be oof, an 19. 19.0? Wait, how is he in P8? Oh, well, he beat Enzo and Beefo, so maybe it's not that bad. Or maybe those drivers just didn't set too competitive a lap time. Now Leclerc starting his lap on the soft compound tires. He's in P5 at the moment. Let's see how much he's improving by here at the end of Sector 1. By 2 tenths of a second here. Good improvements.
It's very great improvements. First sector is being improving by 2 tenths in the first sector. That could mean that he could improve by much more coming up to the end of sector 2. Let's see. Can he improve by much? No, he cannot.
He's actually down on his lap time. We saw him go very wide on that corner where the Mercedes was going out of the way to let him by. Now also we see Infinity on his lap, Verzi on his lap. We're gonna go on board with them after we finish Leclerc's lap. As he backs out, we see um Verzi, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Verzi going into the pits. Infinity now going to be finishing his lap. Can he put down here a provisional pole position lap? He's only 2 tenths away. All he needs to do is improve by a little bit to go to provisional pole position now. We know the track evolution in the middle of the session should be about 2 tenths. Where does he go with this lap? Oh, just a bit down on his lap time. Doesn't even improve, so he needs to set a good lap there in the end if he wants to be contending for pole position. But Meshu looking to have the edge again on everyone, just by about 2 tenths. Of course, Verzi, his lap was still on the medium, so and the track evolution, so we'll definitely have to watch out for him. But now Dima going to be starting his lap. Let's watch on board with him, and maybe Akahor can come and take over it.
Yes, okay, so D-Mag up to 8th gear, using every bit of the DRS. Great first corner, not invalidating, but using all of the track. A little bit of lockup, I think, through that corner. Still using all of the curve, DRS, ERS. He's using everything in his power to get 4 tenths up from his lap. A very good first sector. He could be getting maybe a top 5 finish even. going up the hill, using all of the a little bit of oversteer, but that's not gonna stop him using ERS to help that out of corner speed. Now going on to the last sector. Sector 2 is purple. 1 second improvement by DMAG. Can he get even better on the last sector? This could be a very promising lap, as we have a yellow sector 1. It's not gonna matter for DMAG though. Onto the last corner, taking every bit of track he can. What's his lap gonna time gonna be? A 1:17.4, just enough for beating Young Victim by 1/10 of 1/10.
Yeah, very good effort by him. I don't think he will be in the contention for pole position, but definitely a good lap, a good showing by him. Maximizing what he can do. Of course, he'll still be able to do another lap on a new soft if he has them. Maybe he can take P3, but it would be very hard. Now we see Verzi bolting on the new softs there on the left of your screen. And Infinity heading out of the pits. We see DMAG on his in lap spinning. Yeah, maybe just having a bit of fun. Infinity now starting his out lap. DMAG's teammate now gonna start his lap. He's 2.7 seconds off provisional pole position, but he's only 2 thousandths off P9, so maybe he can take that and hope for some points for Williams. All he needs to do is finish the race to get some points for the team here. Crucial, as we see, he invalidates on turn 1. Very unfortunate there. Enzo, now the guy in P9, also on his lap, 0.5 of a second up. That would put him almost on the brink of P8 here. Also, I'm really surprised Flame in P7 on the hards beating Barca Boy, Enzo, and Bifo, who are all on the softs. Maybe a bit embarrassing, but yeah. And Infinity, we're seeing he's going out pretty early to start his lap. Like, it's 5 minutes left and he's going out. As in Enzo 1 second up, but he just made a big mistake on that corner. So he's gonna lose definitely a couple of tenths there. Let's see what he can improve by in the end. I'm gonna be guessing a second, so that would put him up to P7 if he's just over a second improvement. Let's see what he can do here in the end. Now Enzo going across the line to take only P8, 2/10 behind P7, so wasn't enough for that in the end. But now we're going to see Infinity very early starting his lap. This could be a pole position protagonist trying to take his first pole position in F124 tier. Here in VDRL, locking up a bit, but going very smoothly through that corner, flowing out just enough wide to maximize the circuit. Now using all of the circuit on this very tricky hairpin, going out wide to get a bit of a slide, and he's up by barely anything. He needs to nail these final corners if he wants to do anything on that contention for pole position. He needs to maximize this fully. Only 30% battery left. He's gonna be getting max pedal to the metal using the ERS. Gonna be opening the DRS right next to the line, going as short of a distance as he can. Where can Infinity go with this lap? 1.6 tenths improvement, almost next to Meshu. Only 4 hundredths behind him, but it wasn't enough in the end, and that gotta be heartbreaking. Very good lap, but it just wasn't enough to beat Meshu, who will probably going to be going out to improve here in the end. Thoughts on that lap?
Yeah, I mean it's very unfortunate, but maybe he could try another one. I think he's cutting the corners because he is going to try to do another lap on a new set of softs if he has one. If he has a new set of softs, I'm not sure if he does, but if he does, then maybe he will try, as you can see, using all of the overtake he can and the ERS to finish his lap and maybe go out another lap on new softs.
Yeah, pushing hard here to get back into the pit lane. if he does have the new softs, or just to put in some more fuel and go on the old softs, which wouldn't be too bad. He could definitely find half a tenth, but we do think Meshu could also find half a tenth, so we'll have to see. But also Verzi, don't forget about him. His lap was set on the mediums and without the track evolution. At the start of the session, he set that lap, so Verzi now also on his out lap here. We're on board with him here. Gonna be warming up his tires, so getting into nice temperature. He did qualify P2 in the sprint qualifying. He needs to take that back and try to qualify P1, but Meshu also needs to get a good lap here if he wants to take pole position and not fumble the start. Maybe a bit Lando Norris esque. Then you see a yellow flag for the Sauber Flame. He's just maybe cooling down his tires a bit to start his lap here. Leclerc also going out. Everyone heading out of the pit lane now to start their laps. D-Mag also. Now let's see Meshu. Who will be the first of the drivers to start the lap? It will be Flame. So let's head on board with him for this lap. Or at least a part of the lap. Now going into turn 1, going down to 5th gear. Not using all of the track, but still pretty decent. Now hitting the apex very nicely. We see a yellow flag in sector 2, won't be affecting him. We're now going up the gears. DRS flap wide open up to 8th gear here. And now going back down the gears, 2/10 of improvement here in sector 1, which would only put him not even up a position. He needs to improve by almost 8/10 if he wants to get up a position. But let's see now. Meshu is going to be starting his lap. The pole position, provisional pole position holder at the moment. What can he do here now, Ekehor? As he goes wide and invalidates Meshu, and he kills himself. Thoughts? Ekehor? Okay. So Wave now improving by 8/10. This would put him up into P7, but can he improve more to get up into P6? He goes up only to P4 actually. Very amazing effort by Flame here. Now Verzi, 5/10 of a second of Verzi could be taking pole position here in VDRL in the main race. Verzi now getting a very nice slipstream by the V-Carb ahead of him. Using all of the ERS. Going up the gears, gonna be the DRS flap. Wide open any moment now. Very good slipstream. What can Verzi do? Verzi takes pole position by 5/10 of a second. Amazing lap by him. Young Victim going up into P5. But now Infinity going to also be starting his lap 1/10 up in sector 1. But Infinity backs out of the lap.
Yeah, very crazy lap from Verzi. 1:16.2, beating Meshu by a half a second. We didn't see this much improvement by a driver in, like, I think the history of VDRL. A beautiful lap from him, getting pole position, because nobody is going to beat that time, I think, here. But I mean, D-Max still have a chance. He goes fastest in the sector 2. Finishing out his lap now onto the last corner. What is his time's gonna be? It's going to be a 1:16.8, going third fastest, beating Infinity. Beautiful lap from D-Mac too.
But now Barca Boy gonna be finishing his lap as well. He's gonna go an improvement, but not an improvement of position. So that will be the end of qualifying, with Verzi taking pole position after winning the sprint race as well. And Meshu taking P2, 5/10 of a second behind him. Very good lap by Verzi. And Meshu just invalidating his lap in turn 1. Then D-Mac, strong finish, P3. That will be very crucial. He knows he has very good race starts. But he started all the way back in P5 and he won the race by 5 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, in Australia last season out in tier 2. Infinity then in P4. Flame rounding out the top 5, almost a second off Verzi though. Amazing lap by Verzi. But if we don't count Verzi, the top four is only separated by a couple hundredths. So very close gaps for that second position. Anyone could have gotten it, even DMAC, even Infinity, anyone. We see just 4,000 separating Infinity and Meshu, P4 and P2. And then a big 410 gap to Wave in P5. Then in Young Victim in the Ferrari taking P6, Leclerc in the Alpine taking P7, Barca Boy in the V-Carb taking P8, and the German of Enzo taking P9. Then Beeful rounding out the top 10 and the finishing order taking P10 for Ireland.
Yes, as beautiful as this qualifying can be, let's see what the race can bring us. Absolutely, I mean, beautiful stuff from everybody in the qualifying session. But yeah, as you said, this could be a rainy race because we can see some clouds forming in the sky, and also it's very dark out here. So let's see what the strategies be and the drivers start.
Yep. So I don't know if it's gonna be wet, but yep, a lot of uh clouds, as we can see there. So definitely could be rain. Maybe during to the end of the session. We know it's a 35% race today here. About 20 laps, if I'm not mistaken. So they're going to be starting any moment now. The strategy variation will be important for who's going to be having a good start here. So now it's going to be on the softs. The top three is 5 red lights, and we go out as Verzi gets a pretty poor reaction time. Meshu almost going up beside him, but Verzi keeping the lead for now. DMAC trying to maybe look out down the inside, but it's not enough for now. We see going up really off Infinity, going off the track there in the back, dropping a lot of positions. We see contact there, maybe someone losing its wing. Yeah, we see Leclerc losing his wing there in the Alpine. Big drama here as we see Flame up into P2. Where's Meshu? Down to P5. Very good start for Verzi. 2-second gap already to P2 of Flame.
Yes, absolutely great race start for Flame Savory up to P2 as a Meshu goes down to P4, but he did overtake someone for that P4 position. DMAG is the person who went down to P5. As we can see, a big oversteer from DMAG. He is just making mistakes that he shouldn't make, as Meshu is now on the gearbox of Young Victim. Can he overtake in this straight? Can he not? VRS goes fastest, is now almost 3 seconds, gained 3 seconds to Flame, Flame. And as we go to the second lap of the race, still 2.8 seconds as the lead, and only gaining much more. Meshu trying to overtake Young Victim, who they both have the DRS on that straight. Young Victim trying to overtake Flame. Side by side they go through that corner, not making any contact. Beautiful, as Meshu gets the opportunity to go side by side with his teammate to get P3.
Yep, now Meshu gonna be going down the outside of the Scarlet Ferrari and overtaking 2 of them in just 2 corners. But Young Victim will be having a bit of a switch back here. Can he go down the inside? No, he's going around the outside, but Meshu seems to be keeping the position for now. We saw a bit of battling there in the end, in the back with Beeful and DMAC, the 2 teammates fighting for P5 here. This is crucial for the race, since we see drivers behind them catching to them, and they are not gaining to the drivers ahead. If they want to fight for the podium, they need to stop fighting. Now in the front here, the Young Victim gonna go for the move on Meshu down the inside, side by side through this very hard corner, but Meshu keeps the lead as we see big contact there as DMAC and Barca Boy collides, or Beeful. very big drama there.
Yeah, absolutely big contact. What a... I mean, I think D-Mac just lost it and then Barcelona got the short end of it. Yeah, that's not going to be a good point of for Barca Boy in D-Mac's name. And also, I don't know what damage can that collision get cost or made to D-Mac or Barca Boy, as D-Mac is now down to P8, getting overtaken by Fomaben and also Enzo in the Ferrari. Tries to go down to the inside, gets a little bit of tap on the Ferrari, not making any overtakes though, as the D-Mac is down to P8 from P3. Not the
Yeah,
greatest of starts for him.
yeah, a lot of drama here in the start. Flame also getting a 3-second time penalty here, gonna be crucial due to the end of the race. But now Verzi pulling already a 5-second gap. This is very crucial for the race. If anyone else wants to win, they will need a safety car. So we'll have to look out for that. But now locking up ahead of Flame, young victim is Flame having a 3-second time penalty. Yes. Um, Flame is on the mediums though, compared to Meshu and Young Victim, who are ahead of them. So he will be gaining time any moment now due to the tires. But now we see a very big battle here for...
Yes, D-Mac and Enzo goes off the track. I think Enzo got D-Mac, get D-Mac down the inside of
Oh!
his driver. Fomaben on D-Mac has spun it on the uphill section of the track.
Yeah, but now he's gonna be losing a lot of time, and if I'm not mistaken, he has wing damage, right? No, he doesn't, but I saw someone have wing damage. Is it Barca Boy? Yeah, Barca Boy, I see it. Does not have a front wing end plate, we see. Yep, big damage there for Barca Boy, but he's still holding strong in P7 there. But now, will anyone be going for a move here for the top two? They're just staying calm now for the moment. Flame behind them knows he's on the medium compound of tires. We see contact here with Barca Boy and Beefle now. Will Barca Boy be going down the inside? No, but he made Beefle go pretty deep. He will be having a better exit out of this next turn. Maybe gonna be going with the DRS down the inside or around the outside for this next corner. Now having the better straight line speed, but Beefle going very deep on the brakes and keeping P6 for the moment. See, the two Kick Saubers are definitely the strongest team line pair up for at least round one. They will be most likely be getting the Constructors Championship lead, with them getting a very strong finish in the sprint race and P2 and P4 at the moment in the race. But we do see Flame with a big 3-second time penalty, which will be hurting him later on in the race. But he is on the mediums. This will help him maybe overtake these two drivers ahead of him. But we see Young Victim dropping out of the DRS of Meshu, so this will give a big opportunity to Flame to try and overtake the Ferrari rival using the same engine as him, but not the same car, not the same driver. Will he be going for a move both on low ERS, but he's staying behind him for the moment? Doesn't have enough speed to try and overtake him. I'm gonna try to force him into a mistake. Infinity behind them gets a big time penalty. But we see going side by side here for P6, Beefle and Barca Boy. Beefle going down the inside, and then the Ferrari going down the inside and having a big moment, almost spinning there. And Barca Boy going around the outside of Beefle and taking back P6. Big drama here for only P6 here.
Flawlessly, and Young Victim going side by side. I think we should switch to them. Yes, they are very close to each other, under gearbox of each other, so yeah. They are fighting for that P3 position. If Flame Savory could take that P3, big mistake from the Ferrari there. Now Flames has the position of P3.
We see a yellow flag there in the back for the Williams of D. McGee. But now, will the Ferrari try to retake the position? This is not helping any one of them. They're losing all the time to Meshu. As we see the big moment there for the Scarlet Ferrari in P4. Losing time, and now Infinity will have an opportunity to make a move on him. Infinity does have a penalty, but it won't matter now. He wants to go and try and overtake the Ferrari. He has the DRS. He has the ERS. He's going down the inside, braking late and overtaking him. Will the Ferrari go for a switchback? It's not enough, and Infinity takes P4 in the race for the moment. The two Saubers on a double podium at the moment. D-Mag going into the pits. What tires will he go on to now? Going on to the hard compound of tires now and changing his front wing.
Yeah, we can see that the Williams are not really the best teams possible here. I think D-Mag making a lot of mistakes, unfortunately for him, but
And
not unfortunately for the rest of the teams, as the Kick Saubers have now taken P2 and 3, beautiful combination on that team. So as we see D-Mag going into the wall.
a virtual safety car is out. And D-Mag and Beeful are my drivers. I'm the team principal, and not too happy with their performance at the moment. Of course, your driver, Barsaboy, going into the pits now. We see a lot of drivers heading into the pits. This will be crucial for the race. Young Victim, this will help them out a lot. This could be race winning for them. Thoughts on
Yes, yes. Also, yeah, everything you said was correct. The virtual safety car came in perfectly for them, but not perfectly for the two Kicks and the top five, because the top four or three maybe, because they stayed out of the pits, and now they will have to go into the pits. And not sure if they can go without losing positions.
Yeah, now the DRS will be enabled. Yeah, but we see a big gap though, 24 seconds to P4, but they will be having the fresh tires, so they'll be pushing to try and get past a big undercut here. We already see Young Victim gaining 2 seconds to Infinity in P4, just a couple of corners. This is a very strong undercut, and they will be gaining crucial amounts of time. Are you seeing that gap between Young Victim and Infinity just trickling down every single corner, every single second we're speaking? It's dropping and dropping. Young Victim could be in the fight here, at least for a podium, if they stay out for any longer, maybe even for the win.
Yeah, that gap is going down lap by lap and meter by meter, from 24 seconds now to only 20 seconds. He could be a very strong contender for maybe even the win if Verksy and the top four stay out much longer, because he just doesn't need to make any mistakes and gain that time to VDRL and Infinity, and also the two Kicks.
Yeah, but now we see some battling with Enzo here and Leclerc. Will Leclerc be going for a move here on Enzo? Now going very aggressive defending by Enzo, almost moving right in front of Leclerc here for only P7. So exciting battles here, but we see Young Victim, we see Verzi getting into the pit lane for a change of tires. Now this will be very crucial. Where will Young Victim be in comparison to Verzi? Also, Flame pitting.
Yeah, both of them are in the pits. Maybe Verksy could come out in ahead of. He will definitely come out ahead of Young Victim, but I'm not really sure about the Kick Sauber or Flame Savory. He's still in the pits, still staging his tires as Young Victim goes past him right now, and he's up to P4. That undercut, or the overcut or undercut worked for the last Red Scarlet Ferrari, and he's up to P4.
Yeah, but now Verzi will be having a big undercut on Meshu and Infinity. If they don't box to respond, they will be losing a lot of crucial time. Of course, they were already behind by him by quite a margin, but I don't know exactly how much the pit loss here is. Maybe 23 seconds, I'm guessing, about somewhere there if you box and someone else is pushing. But now we see the only on-track battle at the moment is Leclerc with Enzo here for P7. But now,
Yes, yeah. As Meshu now into the pits he goes. Uh, can young victim take that position away from him? It doesn't seem like it, because also the Kicksauber pit box is in the end. Young victim gonna get very close to him. We can see the red scarlet on the background uh, of the screen. He's very close to him, cutting the corner, going off the track, or on the off the track.
a
Yes,
bit wide.
uh, as now Meshu will have a softer, fresher tires, but it's also not up to temperature as young victim's tires is though. So let's see what he can do.
Yeah, and Meshu locking up there, as we can see. Young Victim will have a great opportunity here. Only 3 laps older. Of course, that's not that much, but it can be crucial. We see a battle here, side by side. Now going Leclerc and Enzo here for P6.
Side by side they go, and Enzo gets the position at the end. P6, young victim still chasing down Meshu for that podium position, as Infinity is still not in the pit, and they are just gaining. 2, 3 and 4 are just gaining on him lap by lap and corner by corner. I think his strategy might not be the best. He's on 11 laps mediums, 11 lap old mediums. That's maybe he will try to go for a soft, medium to soft strategy. That will be very risky for him.
Yeah, but now Leclerc only a couple tenths behind Enzo, the other Ferrari. But keep in mind Leclerc's tires are 6 laps older than Enzo's, but he's still keeping strong right behind him. He will have the DRS now on the straight. Can he go for the move here? Leclerc seems to be struggling on ERS, draining the rest of his battery. Not going to be enough. Now looking down the inside, but backs out here in the end, Leclerc. Now young victim still staying in the DRS of Meshu, showing pretty good bases. He goes out a bit wide here.
Yes, young victim on the 4 lap old mediums now. Now losing out, losing to 1 second.
Yeah. So now we see changing positions here. Flame and Beefle. We saw Flame testing the hards in the qualifying session. Maybe now he used them so he can use them in the race, but he seems to be going really slow. Maybe an AI driving for him, from what I'm seeing. And it looks to be driving really weirdly. Maybe he disconnected. I don't know exactly, but now Leclerc, every single lap he's right next to him, but it's just not enough to go for the move on Enzo. But he seems to have a lot more ERS here, 40% more ERS, and he's gonna have the DRS. Can he go for a move here now? Enzo draining the last of his battery. Leclerc gonna be trying to go around the outside, and he's braking very late on the brakes. Enzo have to jump over the curb, but Leclerc just contacts a bit with Enzo, and that just slows down his momentum. He will have to try and go again next lap again. The young victim now dropping out of the DRS of Meshu. We see Infinity now going into the pits. Let's see where he will come out.
Yeah, according to my calculations, which I did in my head, he should be coming out at P5, P4, sorry, because I think everyone or almost everyone they're going to, as Meshu Meshu is, I think, in the pits again. Maybe. Yes, no. I don't, what has happened to Meshu? He is going very slowly
He has
into
damage.
that
No, he doesn't.
straight.
Yeah, something happened to him. I think maybe on the exit, a big moment, but he came out now behind Infinity here, 2 seconds behind him. Now we see battle here with Leclerc as Leclerc finally manages to squeeze past him. But now Enzo going down the inside, going side by side into this now up the hill, and Enzo just keeps the position. But now Leclerc will have the DRS, and he will go again around the outside late on the brakes. But Enzo is later. Enzo is keeping the position for now, but Leclerc will have a better exit. Will he have the ERS to try and go for a move into this next corner? He backs out from what I'm seeing, yes.
Yeah, and turning from the best race of their careers, the Kick Saubers, now only on 4th and 9th position, from the best team finish we could see in the first race to one of the not the dream race. Now they're down positions, which they definitely will not be happy about.
Yeah, but now we see Leclerc going to be having another try at overtaking Enzo here, but his tires are 2 times more worn because you can see Enzo's on 7 laps, he's on 13 laps, but now Leclerc will be having so much more ERS to play with. Enzo is very low on the battery. Critical here moments for P6, but Leclerc does have a penalty which would be going ahead of his time after the race.
Yes, the only fight right now on the as Enzo has a big moment going ghosting through, and Leclerc goes goes around him or into him technically because he is ghosted, and now up to 6th place. But Enzo will not let that slide as he looks for the opportunity, goes down the inside of his rival in that corner on the upper section, as he is still fighting. They are still fighting for that 6th position.
As Infinity takes the fastest lap, there will be an extra point if he can keep it by the end of the race. But now Leclerc seems to be playing some DRS games, letting him by to get the DRS and try to re-overtake him again. Infinity crucially getting that fastest lap here. Leclerc freezing by to Enzo and easily taking that position. Only 3 seconds now behind Barca Boy. But Barca Boy is on the pressure hard, which will be hard to catch up to. But Leclerc is setting personal bests in every sector so far from what I'm seeing. He's just getting faster and faster every single lap. So we'll have to see he's gaining already 3/10 on this lap to Barca Boy. So maybe he's going to be a three-way battle here for P5 even. Let's see all the penalties that everyone has. So Infinity with a 3-second time penalty. As we see Infinity almost battling with Young Victim here. This will be the next on-track battle that we will be able to watch. But we see before that, Enzo right next to Leclerc now going side by side here for P6. Leclerc getting right past him. But now let's go back to the battle for P2 here. Of course, Infinity has a 3-second time penalty, just like Meshu, just like Barcelona, and just like Leclerc. But can he go for the move? He will have the DRS here. Going into this next corner. Now going side by side, braking late, both of them. Going side by side, a bit of contact there maybe, and Infinity has a big moment on the exit. And keeps P2, Young Victim. Now having a bit of a peak down the inside, Infinity is on the soft compound of tires compared to Young Victim's mediums. Will he be going for a move here? He goes down the inside. Very brave move there. We see a yellow flag in the back, but Infinity takes away P2 here. But this is crucial. because he's struggling on ERS, and Young Victim will be having the DRS for this next straight.
As we can see, a lot of penalties for Meshu also, and Infinity, who's got a 3 second time penalty. So this, maybe it's a meaningless battle, but it is a great battle between Young Victim and Messi. Go side by side through the first corner, little bit Infinity pushing Meshu, or sorry, Young Victim out of that corner apex, but still he is keeping it very close to Infinity, and now he will have the DRS. Not going to try, just look for it a little bit, and yeah.
Yeah, so now we see fighting here, Enzo and Leclerc again. They've been fighting for the past 10 laps now. Only 6 laps left, including this one here. And Verzi seems to have the win in the bag, just like Meshu had last season in Tier 2. Meshu won by 20 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, and Verzi is already having a 15-second lead if we count in the penalties. So Verzi on a dominant drive here in round 1 of VDRL, winning both the sprint race and the main race if he can finish this out, having a big pace advantage to the rest of the field. Maybe did a bit more practice, but it doesn't matter. That's what you gotta do if you want to win here in VDRL. But now Young Victim is struggling on the ERS. Will be Infinity dropping him out of his DRS. Now we see Leclerc also dropping out of the Scarlet Ferrari's DRS in the back there for P6. Infinity gets another 3-second time penalty, so Young Victim seems to be getting this P3 in hand if he can just stay in the gap. And he's only 0.3 of a second behind him, or 0.4 of a second behind Infinity. I mean, as we see Beefle getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings here. Just struggling. He's the only driver to have accumulated 9 seconds of time penalties at the moment. A Young Victim has the same amount of battery as Infinity, and Infinity just had a big slide and oversteer on that exit. Will Young Victim going for a move here on Infinity?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it doesn't seem like he is trying to get that P2 away from VDR and Infinity right now. Young Victim doesn't seem to be challenging Infinity that hard now, because he knows that Infinity has a 6-second penalty. He can see that too, and he knows that he just needs to be in 2 seconds, or 6 seconds, within 6 seconds of Infinity, which is very much possible.
Yeah, but he is only 0.3 of a second behind him. Maybe he wants to take it on track as well. Of course, he doesn't have to, but it would be good for us as well. The rain didn't come out as expected. Fully dry weekend every single session.
Yes, and also about you saying taking it on track, it is also a very respectable moment if you not only wait for the penalty to come and then just taking that P2 or any positions, but then taking it on track and really showing that you could beat that person not by just penalties but by raw pace.
Yeah. But he gets a 3-second time penalty as well, but now this is crucial. He can't get another penalty or he will be falling behind him. But Infinity doesn't look like he can pull a 3-second gap, so Young Victim, he just needs to chill now. Don't get any more penalties. And get that P2 guaranteed here. Will be a good weekend for Ferrari. amazing weekend for Mercedes, only having one driver, but that driver getting the maximum amount of points possible, taking the pole position point, also winning the sprint. So 8 points, pole position point, 9 points, fastest lap in the race, which he doesn't have currently. So maybe not maximum amount of points, 1 point less than he could have gotten because Infinity, if I'm not mistaken, has the fastest lap. Let me just check really quick. Where can I check? Yep. Yeah, so Infinity has the fastest lap by just 700ths of Verzi. So Verzi will be getting 30 some 33 points if I'm not mistaken. Still very good weekend, almost a maximum amount of points, but now we see Infinity making a bit of a mistake and Young Victim being on his gearbox at the moment. Will he go for a move here? He will have the DRS, and we see Infinity going a bit wide now. They're going to be going side by side into this corner, and he goes by him, but Infinity still squeezing him onto the inside curb, even ghosting because of the contact, but Infinity keeping the P2 for the moment. The penultimate lap at the moment, so they needs to get this position. Every single driver except Enzo in the Ferrari and Verzi has some sort of penalty so far. Of course, there could be also penalties after the race for some incidents.
Yes, of course, Enzo is the one who could still take it away from Barca Boy. He's only 3.2 tenths away from Barca Boy, and the Barca Boy has a 3-second time penalty. So, I mean, I think he needs to do a late push at the end to maybe gain that 2 tenths to Barca Boy. But yeah, so we will see what will the end results be, as Young Wisdom still chasing down VDRL Infinity for that P2 position.
Yes, but now, after this whole race, Verzi is going to be completing what Meshu did last time out in Season 3, the last time we raced in Portugal in Tier 2. Meshu won by an astonishing 20 seconds. Verzi is now going to be winning by 21 seconds this race. Amazing weekend for him, getting almost the maximum amount of points possible, also almost lapping Beefle now. But now Verzi going on to the final corners of the race is going to be your F124 tier round 1 race winner. Here, him celebrating is gonna be Verzi winning the race. But now let's see the battle between Young Victim and Infinity. Will Young Victim have the opportunity? No, he won't have the opportunity on track. But Young Victim, after penalties, will take away that P2. So Young Victim crossing the line in P2 after penalties. And Meshu taking P3 by 1/10 of a second. Close gap there. So Meshu taking P3 for Sauber. Infinity taking P4. Barca Boy, will he take that P5? Or will it be not enough? We see Enzo, a very small gap between Enzo and Barca Boy.
He won't take that P5. I think Barca Boy won't take that P5. Yes, Enzo crosses the line as he goes back to the top of the top 5, or the bottom of the top 5, only by 32 thousandths of a second. Beautiful stuff from Enzo. That late push made him get that P5.
Yeah, and
Barcelona down to P6 and Leclerc 7th. The other Kick Sauber down to P8 and Fomaban is 9th with 12 seconds of penalties.
yeah, Meshu taking P3 in the end, unexpected, but very good weekend for Ferrari overall, taking a P2 and P5 here in the main race. Good result from them, and it will definitely be a strong contender going into the next race. Will be a close Constructors' Championship battle for sure. We'll have to see the standings after the race, but these will be your provisional race results after we watch the podium celebrations. see the driver of the day by the game is Infinity. Who do you think is your driver of the day for today?
It's probably Young Victim with that beautiful strategy to get a P2, I think. So,
Yeah, I mean, definitely
yeah.
a strong contender. In my opinion, it would be Verzi winning by 21 seconds. Astonishing uh, race by him. Very good result by him. Now we see him spraying the champagne here. A kick on the podium, nothing you would see in real life. And the Mercedes winning it, rare here on this past into recent years. But here you will see the final provisional race results actually, because maybe there will be some post-race penalties. We'll have to see about that. Infinity taking the fastest lap. There'll be 13 points for him in the main race. But on the weekend, 33 points for Verzi. But if we count the pole position point, it will be uh, 34 points, like I said before. Then Young Victim is going to be P2 in the driver standings with 24 points. Meshu close behind with 22 points. Infinity with 15 points. Barca Boy with 11 points. Enzo with 10 points. Flame with 8 points. Leclerc with 7 points. DMAG with 5 points because that's 1 point that is shown is not going to count since he DNF'd. And Beeful with 2 points. So, that will be it for today's race. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.
Isn't there interviews? Isn't there
Uh,
interviews?
I mean, I don't know. Should we do interviews?
I think. Yeah, yeah. I think we should. It should. I think.
Okay, okay, let's do the interviews. Okay, so we will be heading on to the interviews when everyone joins. So our race winner has joined. Verzi, can you hear me?
Yeah,
So, amazing result from you, almost getting the maximum amount of points, of course, except you did not get the fastest lap in the end in the race, but still 34 points in the end. That's gonna be 21 seconds. The lead was from you when you won the race. So amazing race. Take us through your thoughts about it.
I don't really have any thoughts about the race other than I won. Uh,
Um, well, Akor, do you have any questions?
Not.
No. Okay. Well, Verzi, congrats on the win. Thank you,
Thank
and we will be heading on to the P2 finisher of Young Victim. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So, take us through your race, taking P2 in the end due to some penalties of the driver ahead. How was the race?
Um, Stressful. I was very slow. I'll be honest.
Akor?
Um. Yeah. Just congratulations. A great strategy. Yeah. Nothing really from me. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, now, heading on to the P3 finisher of Meshu. We thought he was going to be a strong contender for the win, but in the end, only P3. Take us through your race. What happened there? We saw you going pretty slow on the straight at one point.
Yeah, so on the first lap, I had a really good start. I thought I could keep up with, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but yeah, thought I could keep up, but DMAC pushed me wide into the gravel and made me lose a lot of time. And then was doing really good, only catched in sector 3 to the guy in the Mercedes, but he did a really good job. Couldn't really catch him that much, so. And yeah, on the straight, I had a throttle issue. It didn't work anymore. Had to go into the settings, reconnect the uh, wheel again, and yeah, that was like the issue that I had.
Yeah.
But at all, just a good race.
Yeah, but 22 points in the end, so you're going to be P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Akahor, any questions from you?
No, I think you said it all. Yeah, great race, and yeah, congratulations to you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for the interview. Now we will be heading on to the P4 finisher of Infinity. Can you hear me? So Infinity is not in this call. Enzo finishing P5 in the second Ferrari. Very strong result from Ferrari. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
So take us through your race. I mean, double top 5 finish for Ferrari. So
yeah. I mean, the race was very good. At least struggled in the last laps, but I got really lucky with the VSC from I think the AMAC that he left.
yes.
And got lucky with the pen from Barca Boy and got P5 by like 30 thousandths of a second. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
very good race.
32,000. Yep, very close gap there in the end, and congrats on P5 and Akohor.
Nothing from me.
Yep. Then um going on to the P6 finisher, Barca Boy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so taking P6 in the end by 32,000 behind end. So take us through what happened to you in the race.
Um, had a very good sprint. Me and Flame had a very good battle, and then after that went mostly downhill. Had a bad quali, and then during the start of the race and for the first few opening laps, got taken out multiple times by the same person, got wing damage, and then got lucky with that VSC from DMAG, and then clicked yes to repair my wing, and it didn't. So was stuck the rest of the race then with a damage win. So just unlucky.
Yeah, well, still a P6 in the end. And any questions from Akohor, aka your team principal?
I mean, just congratulations and yeah, thank you for the great race.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the final person we're going to interview, Leclerc in the Alpine, the sole Alpine in the race, finishing P7. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, strong finishing, and you saw you battling a lot with Enzo for about 10 laps straight. You were battling every single lap. Take us through that battle and your whole race.
Yeah, I got wing damage in the first lap because someone was pretty slow and I wasn't expecting it, so I had to pit. And I've managed to get the undercut on the Williams and Sauber, I think. And then I had a great battle with Enzo. But my tires were gone at like about lap 12. So it was pretty difficult to overtake Enzo and also like get a little gap to him, so he doesn't have DRS. And in the end, I had 6 second penalty, so I couldn't gain on the penalty of Barca Boy.
Yeah, but still, in the end, a very entertaining battle from you, and hope to see you back stronger next race. And Akohor, any final questions from you?
Nope, just a great race from everyone, and to you too, congratulations, and we'll see you next time.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you. And that will be the end for VDRL F1 2040 round 1. Thank you everyone for watching.